Yeah, me too, man.
So, I mean, it seems like two YouTubers here doing what they need to do. So, was it you got busy today, Texan? Because you kind of gave me like a later time than usual.
Wait, what?
You got busy today?
I did have a pretty busy day today. I got a lot to do, so but I'm good now, at least.
I was a bit fashionably late.
Fair enough.
All right.
Umbrella in general is breaking TOS. Oh my goodness, I can't even.
Yeah, you might want to be careful with those people. I mean, you got a pretty solid server, man. The left is watching.
They are watching. Trying to shut us down at every point.
Umbrella, what is he doing in general? Fight's brilliant. Looking. What is he doing?
Says he's being anti-Semitic. Yeah, that's, you might want to be careful with that. Those are dangerous waters to tread on. Yeah.
Okay, let me look all the way up. He's talking about Jewish people, basically. No. Let me look. Holocaust denial, basically. Yeah. Real quick. I'm gonna ask your opinion. Do you want to ban this guy with the Holocaust denial, or do you want to keep him around?
I mean, it depends on how he's doing it.
He hasn't really said much. He just said, what if I can deny it, and then what if I'm right?
Just simply Holocaust denials. I mean, people have those opinions. As long as he's not saying anything reckless, like.
Oh, I got one of my Discord's accounts disabled for that very reason. They destroy the server and they destroy the account, so that's they don't care if you have an opinion or not. They're just gonna take you down regardless.
No, if that's the case, then it is what it is. I'm live right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
All right, Texan and then KingSithis. You guys are pretty familiar with the format, no?
Yeah. I'll just talk myself as always.
Say that one more time, Texan. You kind of cut off.
No, I was saying I'll start off by introducing myself as always.
All right.
All right, so we're starting.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
All right.
The Texan and KingSithis, because Texan is our guest. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what's your name? Where are you from? What server do you represent? And also, what is your stance on this issue? On like whether sex and pornography should sex, pornography, and drugs should be legalized.
Well, we should just I think we should do the sex work and porn first.
Yeah.
Then the drugs, then the abortion last.
Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
That's fair that's cool with you, Texan?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. Because I picked out these topics because I feel like you're conservative, right?
Yes.
And I feel like these are things that I kind of disagree with conservatives on, so.
Yeah. So,
all right, well,
what's your...
okay.
You can start.
All right. Well, hello everybody, both to the guys on the stream and everybody in the audience. My name is Wintonama. I'm a Northern Texas resident, born and raised in southwestern Houston. I happen to be a conservative Christian. Wasn't always one. Used to be a former liberal and atheist, but God was providential in that case, and He has brought me to the truth. So I think. And I'm the president and founder of Operation Valiant Front, which is our political action committee based here in the Lone Star State. And our mission is very simple. We want to see young Americans get involved in all forms of society, return to conservative principles, and embrace their duties as American citizens. And so we're currently working on endorsements, just going pretty amazing, getting recognized by public officials across the country. So it's been pretty successful for us in that regard, and I'm looking forward to this debate. As for the topic at hand, though, concerning what was it? We were going to start off with pornography.
Should it be legal or illegal?
Yeah.
And sex work.
The situation with pornography, sex work, I'm kind of unfamiliar with that. I mean, I do know prostitution and all that, but I don't know the ins and outs. It's a really complicated situation, so I may have to educate myself a little bit more before commenting on that. However, for pornography, if the government were to make it illegal, there are two dangers that come with it. Number one, they can use it as an opportunity to oppress people, because the act of producing pornographic content, it's like producing any video, right? And so if the government is going to suppress the creation of pornography, that's a good thing. However, you also have a potential danger with that, and that's the government using that or overreaching that authority to suppress people in other regards. But if our government were to make pornography illegal right now, I'd be in support of it. Either way, as far as porn is concerned, in general, I believe that banning won't solve the issue. The issue is discipline. Young men must learn how to discipline themselves. Young women must learn how to discipline themselves, and that's just the name of the game. Even if you ban pornography, people are not stupid. They're going to find ways to access it regardless. I mean, for those of you who are familiar, I work a lot with the military, and one of the favorite examples I like to use with this situation is that I had a buddy who was in infantry, and so when you get deployed to a compound somewhere, in Kandahar, let's say, you're not allowed to have certain devices, like you're not allowed to have your laptop, your personal phone, and all that stuff. And so these infantry Marines, they didn't have access to pornography, right? They couldn't masturbate and whatever. And so what happened was, one of the guys in their unit happened to be very good with artistry. He was actually very skilled when it came to artwork. And so this infantry unit's bathroom consisted of 4 large walls made out of wood, right? And so this Marine that happened to be very skilled with artistry, he essentially painted a naked woman on the wall, right? So that this painting would provide sexual pleasure to the Marines who actually wanted to masturbate. Crazy story, I know, but it's just an example showing you that pornography is accessible anywhere. You can literally draw it. I mean, you have animations at this point. You have graphic content, so it's not necessarily filming a video, right? So if our young men and women don't learn how to discipline themselves, don't learn how to control their bodies, we're really going to have a serious issue. Banning won't actually will not solve the situation. That's my hot take.
Let's try to make these responses like a minute or two.
Yeah, very more smaller, honestly. Yeah. Like I want to let Winton speak because it kind of I want to like round off his statement.
Yeah. But I get to what you're trying to say, man. But all right, well, my name is KingSithis. I live stream on YouTube. I'm a debater / commentary YouTube channel. I make YouTube videos, sort of commentating on what's going on or stories that I find interesting. And I live stream pretty much every weekend, and I do debates, and and I also hang out in the Nexus Discord pretty much all the time. This is kind of the Discord where I always hang out, And for the issue of whether or not porn or sex work should be legal, I think that in the end of the day, you may think that it's immoral to have sex for money. You may think that it's immoral to make porn videos and do all these things, but I think that at the end of the day, the real question is, do you think that it's the government's job to be regulating what people should be doing with their bodies, how they express themselves, what kind of videos they could be making, and whom they allow to have sex with each other, you know? And I think that when you give the government that right to basically do that, you're giving the government the right to do a whole bunch of other things that we any person might consider to be unsavory, you know? Like, what's next? Are they going to stop telling you, they're going to tell you you can't smoke cigarettes because it's too bad for you? Are they going to tell you that you can't eat too much Big Macs because it's not good for you? Is it going to tell you anything that the government may deem to be not good for you or not good for society? They'll just tell you, not regardless of your human rights or your freedom of speech, they're just going to ban it and tell you you can't do it because, you know, they simply think that it's not good for you, even though it's your right to do whatever you want.
All right, Winton, you can start off refuting what Sithis said. And
Yeah, no,
I think we should do it back and forth.
Yeah, I actually agree with what you said there. That's actually true. However, freedom, I do value freedom, and as a Christian, I believe that God gives men free will. That he does not reduce man in this position where he can't decide. I mean, we've seen this over history. Man obviously has free will, so that's my personal belief in the entire situation. Like Cephas, I'm sorry, not Cephas. I'm so sorry. Like King
Sithis.
just said.
Yeah.
Like King just said about the government, he's really true. I mean, I even wrote down 50 reasons or 50 legal risks that can originate from that situation if we endure a scenario where the government tries to ban it. Although it may be good as a moral standpoint, this is a big trap, I believe, for American people, because a lot of corruption can originate from that single bill or that single legal act, right? So honestly, I still believe that people should have free will. However, they should not use that free will effectively, and that they should discipline themselves. That's my stance.
But you don't think it should be illegal to watch porn or make porn or do like porn, or like, you know, have sex for money or something like that?
I have two responses. Yeah, good question. I have two responses to that. I have the Christian response, and then I have the response according to every ordinary person. And so it depends on what response you want to hear.
What do you think?
And I personally, and I believe that my faith comes before everything else. As a Christian, it is clearly explicitly stated that the only naked person we should see is our spouse. And so the fact of Christ characterizes the act of looking at a naked person with lustful intent as adultery. That simple act alone, there's a lot of issues with that. Let alone, actually going to have sex with somebody or lusting after a stranger on a screen. I mean, you're essentially
yeah, but I'm not like asking you the morality. I'm not like asking you what you think morally.
No,
I'm asking you like, what do you think we should be done legally?
What should be done legally? This is not legally. This is moral. I think this is a moral standpoint. Honestly, I mean, the government can't control. Like I said, the government can't control it. Even if we could speak legal all day. I mean, I'm pretty educated when it comes to legal affairs, but legally it won't work. It's just like if you try to ban guns, for instance. I mean, it won't work. Or try to ban drugs, right? We've tried since the 1980s. It was a disaster. So banning porn, especially with technology getting more advanced every day, that's not working. It won't. Nothing's gonna happen. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Okay, so you're basically conceding the point to me that, it should be legal. And it doesn't matter what you do, with your body. I mean, you may think it's wrong, but it should be legal.
Let's face it. If we make it illegal, I'm not saying it should be legal. I'm saying that it's impossible to enforce it. I'm not saying that people should go ahead.
Yeah, but besides the impossible to enforce it, why do you think people shouldn't have do you think people should have the right to do what they want with their bodies or no?
As an American, as somebody who submits myself to the Constitution of the United States, I do believe that everybody has a freedom to do whatever they want. However, my faith strictly rebukes us, or rebukes anybody, honestly, who looks at a naked person, whether that's physically or online, with the lustful intent to receive sexual pleasure. It is a sin, and it is something that is immoral. And I do sincerely believe that a lot of side effects, both physically and mentally, come along with that. It's essentially a whole suitcase.
I understand you think that it's morally wrong, but I feel like every time I question you on whether or not it should be illegal, you keep defaulting back to whether it's moral or not.
I say it should be illegal. I support it.
You think it should be legal?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're conceding the debate to me on this one, it seems.
What about whether it should be legal or not?
Yeah.
No. Let me make this straight. My point is, we can't enforce it. But if our government were to take a decision where they would make it illegal, I'd still support it. I wouldn't have an issue on that.
But simply because you're the God, you think that God thinks it's wrong to have sex before marriage?
Because having sex before you. That's a whole situation. I mean, we could go there if you want to, but that's a whole entire topic on its
Okay,
own.
so yeah, so let's cut through the BS and let's get straight to the issue, all right? So I'm asking you, why do you think it should be illegal for someone to choose to do what they want with their own body?
I think it should be illegal. Now, you're essentially questioning my faith. My position on the issue is based on my faith, okay? Now, if we're speaking from a non-Christian or a non-conservative perspective, like if we're speaking from the perspective...
hold on. I told you to cut through the BS and give me a straight answer. I'm not asking what this perspective, that perspective, this Christian perspective. I'm asking your perspective. Tell me what you think.
My perspective, it should be illegal.
Okay, why? Why? I'm asking why.
And let me also make this clear. My perspective... The Bible's perspective is not my perspective, so I'm just giving you. I'm
asking your perspective, my friend.
I submit myself to Creator, man. I'm sorry.
Do you not have a perspective on this? Do you just think you just used God? You just look to the Bible. Yes, that's what God thinks. So that's my opinion.
No, I do believe that the God gave me instructions. He gave me instructions. He taught me to live a certain way. So I submit myself.
So you don't have an opinion on this, it seems.
I personally, let's take God out of the equation. Personally,
yes,
I wouldn't do it. Personally,
did I ask you? Would you do it?
No, you're asking me. Whether I would support, restricting the freedoms of people. There's freedoms, and we're not talking about the other freedoms. We're talking about specifically the freedom to actually go and gain sexual pleasure from pornography. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Personally, do you think people should have the right to do that?
No.
Why not?
I don't.
Why not?
Because I think it's immoral. I think it's immoral. I think it's bad for the health. I think it's bad physically. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons that come with it.
So you think that things that you think are bad for you should be illegal?
It depends on the context. Like I said, your question isn't really valid, right? Because we all know here the side effects, medically and physically and emotionally too, that addiction to pornography and sexual addiction or whatever has on people. We're all aware of that. I can even list it down if you need me to.
I understand that I understand that there's problems. I can accept that, but what I'm saying is I don't believe if we allow the government to just say this situation, we think this is bad for you. So we're going to just make it illegal despite your human rights, right?
That's what I
they could use that to expand that to many other things that they consider to be bad, but many others may not.
That's what I said. Discipline. It's just like with drugs. Discipline.
But
with guns. Discipline. You should not use guns. With pornography, with your sexual temptations, it's discipline.
Am I talking about discipline, or are we talking about what's legal or illegal?
No. Legality doesn't even matter because it's unrealistic at this point. It's impossible. 0% impossible.
I understand that you think it's impossible. What I'm asking you is why do you think it should be the morals be? I'm trying to figure out what your beliefs are and why you think it is.
Why I think it should be is because of what it does to people. I literally told you. That's why I think it should be illegal because of what it does to people. Now, can the government enforce it? No. But personally, I think it should be illegal because I care about people. I care about people's mental health and their physical health. And I know that pornography is not good for both. Mm-hmm. So
should we also ban fast food or McDonald's and things like that because it's really, really bad for you?
Fast food is not bad for your health. Now, unless you want to go.
Well, I said fast food.
When it comes to the fast food industry, I hold a lot of conspiracy theories. So I want to stay on topic here, and I don't think that's a good route to take.
I mean, you don't need to go down a rabbit hole of a conspiracy to tell me whether or not you think it's bad for you to eat fast food.
What do you
I mean,
characterize as
I'm
fast
pretty
food?
sure we could both agree that it's not good to eat fast food,
A
right?
burger, a burger and French fries, or a pizza, or an ice cream cone is not fast food. Food is food. Anything that provides nutrients and calories and health to your body is food. There's no such. The mainstream media likes to characterize certain foods as fast food. The whole reality is, it's a whole lie. It's a fallacy.
Okay, so like if you had a brother or a friend of yours that was going to McDonald's and eating a Big Mac like every meal of the day, you wouldn't be concerned about his health at all?
If that brother, no, let me actually rephrase your question. What if that brother watched his health? What if he actually spent time in the gym? What if he actually spent time active?
What if he didn't?
If he did it, then that's something different, right? You can eat as much food as you want. That's your problem. I mean, if you're hungry, go ahead and eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat, right? That's a common principle. However, everybody knows that you have to take care of your body. You have to go to the gym. You have to work out. You have to remain active. You have to watch yourself. So that's a personal decision. I'm not controlling that.
Yeah, but you do. Okay, but the real point behind where I'm trying to go with this is that if you think that sex work should be illegal simply because it's bad for you, people can make that same argument with fast food, right?
But the thing is, what is fast food? That's the thing. Like, don't.
Are you gonna sit here and act like you don't know what fast food is?
No, I think you should understand is that when you debate with me, your traditional.
Okay, how about
American
McDonald's? McDonald's.
No. And by the way, I've never had McDonald's before in my life.
Well, give me a fast food restaurant that's really not good for you.
I don't know any.
You don't know any. You don't know any. Okay, what about a pizza place? Do you know what a pizza? You know what a pizzeria is?
Pizza's not fast food. I make.
Okay, but there's pizzas places that have. So you're gonna sit here and act like you don't know what a fast food restaurant is?
What do you think is fast food?
Fast food restaurants, the ones that you go to the drive-through and it's quickly made. It's processed. Exactly. It's not really good for you.
What tells you that it's unhealthy?
The results of eating it.
The results of eating it.
People who eat fast food are fat.
If I eat fast food for the entirety of the day and I hit the gym 3 times a day, is it going to affect my health? No, it won't, because I'm taking care of my body. I'm taking care of my physical education.
So you're going to sit here and just act like you don't know what fast food is, and fast food isn't bad for you at all. That's what I said. You don't know what fast food. You're acting like you don't know what it is.
What do you think fast food is? That's what I asked you.
I gave you a crystal clear answer as to what fast food, what I consider to be fast food.
No, don't play that game, dude. You characterize food as unhealthy food. I'm characterizing fast food as food. You're characterizing it as unhealthy.
No, I think the reason why you're trying to avoid my question is because you understand where I'm going with this, and you don't want to face the question. You understand that simply because something is bad for you, that doesn't give the government the right to simply ban it. But you don't want to face that question because you don't want to actually acknowledge what fast food is, but even though you know what fast food is, you're not going to acknowledge it because you know that in the end of the day, that simply because something is bad for you doesn't mean that the government should ban it, right?
The thing is, though, the government would never ban pornography. The government doesn't care about the.
I'm not asking. All right, we can move to the next question if you want.
I gave you a solid position on my stance with this.
I'm critiquing your position, bro. I'm critiquing your position.
I know I know that. But the thing is, whether the government enforces it or not, that it's unrealistic. They won't be able to. Now, my position, it's the side effect. I say this as an American who cares about my other fellow Americans. I don't want to see my other fellow Americans struggle mentally, physically, and emotionally due to the side effects of pornography. And so personally, I wouldn't suggest it. I mean, I wouldn't go out there and just saying, hey, everybody.
Do you know what a chocolate cake is?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that chocolate cake is healthy for you?
Yes. Depends.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
Dude.
If you eat too much chocolate cake, is that bad for you?
If you eat too much carrots, is it bad for you?
I'm asking you a specific question. If you eat too much chocolate,
food is food. Why are you trying to characterize?
I'm asking you a question.
Chocolate cake.
Answer the question, dude. Answer the question. If you eat too much chocolate cake, is that bad for you?
No, it's not.
So if I were to get a whole chocolate cake thing and eat it without exercising, without anything, and just continue eating chocolate cake for every meal.
You did not mention exercising. You did not mention exercising in your previous question.
Okay, I'm asking. Okay, then I'll put it in. And let's say I eat a bunch of chocolate cake every single too much chocolate cake, and I don't exercise. Is that bad for me?
Of course, it's bad for you.
Okay, should that be illegal?
Why would the government? Why will the government?
I'm not asking why. I'm not asking this. I'm asking you. A pretty crystal clear question. Do you think it should be illegal?
No, it shouldn't be illegal. Why would?
Okay, so just because. Okay. Listen. Okay. So just because something is bad for you doesn't mean that it should be illegal, right?
No, you took a radically different example. Are you seriously going to compare? Are you going to compare food with pornography? Like that's you should use another example, but not that.
I mean, dude, like porn can't really fucking kill you. I mean, but if you eat chocolate cake too much, that could literally fucking kill you. You could get diabetes.
There are medical side effects that comes with pornography and excessive masturbation.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying, right, is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Let's put the ratio. What is more risky? Like you seriously got a simple. I actually hate it when people do that. You got an example like chocolate cake. You got something so inconspicuous like chocolate cake. And you want to compare it to pornography? No, get something leveled. You cannot do that. Food is absolutely different. It's out of the context.
Okay, so
here,
wait. But you think so eating chocolate cake for every meal of the day without exercising, you think that's not as bad as jerking off? You think jerking off is way worse for you than that? You're gonna die way earlier for jerking off.
Dude, no. This is an ineffective question. First of all, chocolate cake. Some people make chocolate cake without sugar. Some make it without sugar. Some use certain ingredients. I've made chocolate cake before. Not every chocolate cake is going to be the same. Some chocolate cakes are made with. Some people even incorporate things like carrots and spinach and other vegetables in their cake. So you can't tell me that it's going to specifically be unhealthy for you. It depends on the context, man. Like your chocolate cake example.
You agreed with me that eating chocolate cake with every meal without exercise is bad for you. Like you agreed, right?
No, exercising is different. If you eat in general, chocolate cake.
I mean, even if you exercise, eating chocolate cake with every meal is not good for you.
Any food at this point, you have to exercise. That's something else. Man. Exercising, food or no food, you have to pay attention to your physical appearance. Food, whether food is considered or not, you have to pay attention to your physical.
What is it?
Gotcha.
Wyatt, what is it? Winston, Sithis. We're kind of like getting way off topic right now. Since we're talking about 3 different segments, we might as well go to
let's move on. We can move on to the next one.
Yeah. Do you guys believe drugs should be legal? Because it doesn't seem like we kind of have like a legal perspective on like the other issue. So, like we can start with Sithis and we can go over to Texas and Texan if you don't mind. So, do you think drugs should be legal? You know, because it's kind of like a 3-in-1 topic.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that drugs absolutely should be legal. At the end of the day, even if drugs are bad for you or are not really good for you, in the end of the day, what you put into your own body is up to you, and as long as you're not harming another person or going out in public and doing some crazy ass shit or driving in a car and getting into a vehicle, and you're in your own home, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be allowed to take drugs or do what you want. I think that us basically trying super hard to stop people from doing drugs has caused way more issues than it's solved. I would say they say like 90% of the shootings that happen within the United States are gang on gang violence, and the reason why a lot of these gang members are shooting each other is because they are fighting over turfs in order to sell drugs on. And if we were to make drugs legal and leave it to, say, pharmaceutical companies for them to make it and have it in an open market where we can regulate it and see what's actually going on, these people would have to move on to other things and find actual jobs as opposed to selling crack and drugs on the street and, causing 90% of the gun homicides, But that's kind of the main reason why I think that drugs should be legal, mainly for freedom, and it's just I believe that we'll be better off for it.
Okay, Texan.
Okay, King, I do believe that you're treading on very dangerous waters here when you make out your point about drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're claiming, just to make it clear, before I go on, just to make it clear, you're claiming that drugs should be okay for recreational use.
Yeah.
So if I went to decide that I want to get high and pass out on my bed tonight, that it's okay. That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah. What's the issue with that?
I want to announce something to you guys though, and you guys can't see her right now, but she's watching this event, and actually several other people who I've contacted prior to this event. Rebecca Keisling, she was a former presidential advisor to 3 different presidents. She's a pro-life activist, and she has 2 sons who died from fentanyl overdose. She's watching this debate as I speak. Her sons used drugs like anybody else, right? For recreational use. With the dangerous, evil system that we live in today, you're seriously going to risk your life in going to go get drugs, and you don't even know where it's coming from. Drugs in today's world are distributed by cartels, all of them. It can be from the Chinese, it can be from the Mexican cartels, Venezuelan cartels. It doesn't matter, especially for South America. A tiny portion of fentanyl, just a microscopic portion, is enough to kill you.
Yeah.
And so at this point, you don't even know if that pill you're taking has fentanyl laced within. And so you're essentially putting yourself, every drug that you take, every time you try to go get high, every time you try to snort something, you're putting your life at risk. We have the example of the 1-year-old who just died at that daycare, in the Bronx daycare.
Yeah.
1-year-old baby got exposed to fentanyl, gone. And so I'm like, me, Winston, I'm just going to go out there. I mean, I'm more than qualified to comment on this because I live in Texas and I live near the border. I can see eye to eye what's going on to my state. I can see the cartels that are coming in and distributing the drugs. I can see the illegal immigrants coming in and distributing the drugs.
Yeah.
So me, Winston, I can decide all of a sudden tonight, I want to get high. I'm going to go get drugs. I go buy from some cartel. I go buy from some hitman or something. Next thing you know, Winston is gone. He's dead due to fentanyl exposure. And the government should support that. The government should actually legalize that. Absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, so
That should not happen.
So you're completely misrepresenting my position. When I say legal, I mean it should be done in stores, in pharmacies. It should be regulated to make sure that it has the proper amount of drugs. The problem right now, the reason why cartels and all of these gang members are selling drugs is because it's illegal. If it was legal and these pharmaceutical companies were making it en masse, they would not be able to compete with these pharmaceutical companies, and people would just simply go. Just allow me to finish. People would simply go to these pharmaceutical companies and buy these drugs as opposed to going to these drug dealers. So, for instance, marijuana. In Florida, I live in a legal marijuana state. Marijuana, before it was legal, it used to be smuggled in from the border. We used to call that shit dirt weed. That shit was like, it was brown, but you smoked it and it came from the border. But ever since it started to become legal, people stopped buying their marijuana from Mexico and they started buying it from California and the legal states. And eventually, as it became legal in almost most of every state and also in Florida, people are no longer buying it from drug dealers anymore, and they're buying it from smoke shops, and they're buying it from dispensaries, and they're buying it from legal regulated businesses. And they're going home and they're smoking their drugs and they're not harming anybody. And see, the thing is, when you allow for that, the illegal element, which is the cartels, the mafias, the gang members, they're basically screwed because they can't compete with the legal market. They just simply cannot compete with a store. That's why you don't see cartel selling soda, because why would a cartel sell soda if soda is readily available at any store?
Absolutely ridiculous, man. I just pulled up an article from the National Health Institute. More than 700,000 people alone. Deaths, marijuana-related deaths, 700,000 people. So you want to legalize something?
Whoa.
These cartels, hold on. These cartels, they don't care about people's health. They don't care about the well-being of people. And right now, the United States is dealing with an adversary, one of our biggest adversaries, China. China's shipping in fentanyl. These cartels are getting the pills that are sold at pharmacies, and they're lacing fentanyl with these pills, which means that more people are going to die. This just fits a narrative. Not only that, Why will a pharmacy that's supposed to save lives, why will a pharmacy that's actually supposed to help people get out of drug addictions actually sell recreational drugs to people? Why will pharmacies that are supposed to actually assist people who are dealing with medical complications, why will they assist them in putting themselves in a position that could eventually take away their life? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you go
Yeah.
to school for
So
12 years, you pay
yeah. So the
$400,000.
let me go address your first point before you start rambling on to 10 other points. Okay. The reason why fentanyl is so popular right now is because it's very, very easy to smuggle, and it's easy to put into other drugs to get you high, basically. So as opposed to just smoking heroin, a lot of these people, they put a little bit of heroin in it, and they put more fentanyl in it to get basically more high. And you get higher off a very small amount, so it's easier to smuggle in large amounts. So making it but the thing is, if the heroin addicts, right, had a choice between doing heroin and doing fentanyl, they would choose to do heroin. But because it's illegal, they have no choice but to buy it from these drug dealers. But if
Why
it
does
was
it have to be illegal? How
because
does it benefit you as a person to put yourself in a position that can destroy your health?
because people are doing drugs, so me and you can both agree that people are doing drugs regardless of whether it's legal or illegal, right? Yep, right. We could both agree on that. You nodded your head, yes. Okay, so
Yes, I agree.
who would you rather be selling the drugs? Cartels or regulated corporations that we could keep an eye on?
I wouldn't sell drugs to anybody.
It's going to be either. You do agree that it's either or, right?
No, it's not. Don't sell drugs at all. Stop it.
But that's not going to happen. You both agreed. We both agreed.
Dude, look at this water bottle that I'm holding. Let's pretend that this earpiece is drugs, right?
Yeah.
This earpiece, 1 pound of this earpiece is worth $300 worth a pound, and this is fentanyl. And this water bottle right here is $500 per bottle. What do you think the cartel is gonna sell? They're selling drugs because it's high on demand right now. People want to get high.
But why is it high on demand? Because it's illegal. If we made it legal, it would cost the norm.
Listen to my. If water bottles increase in value,
yeah,
do you think cartels are going to still sell drugs? They won't sell drugs. They will say, "Wait a minute, we found new business."
Yeah, they're going to sell water.
Exactly. And where are the drug addicts going to find their drugs? Where are they going to get high on? Where are they going to find that? Nowhere.
But but you're proving my exact point. In making drugs illegal, they've increased the demand for drugs and the price for drugs. And in doing so, they've incentivized people who do illegal crimes to sell those drugs on the black market. Where I see, in the end of the day, whether it's legal or illegal, people are going to sell drugs to people. People are going to do drugs. So wouldn't you rather it be in the spotlight so that we could see what's going on and regulate it in a way so that the least amount of people get harmed?
No, death sentence. You know what we do here in Texas? Do you know what happens when a state trooper finds you with I'm not even talking about fentanyl. Fentanyl is a whole other level of legal trouble. Do you know what a state trooper here in the state of Texas does when he finds somebody with marijuana, and especially if it's 20 years of prison to a death sentence? This is going to deter people. This is deterrence.
So but don't you think that's a bit ridiculous, bro? Like, if I smoke, if I smoke some pot or something, you think I should get the death sentence?
Do you know how much drug related arrests we have here in the city of the Woodlands, which is a conservative stronghold? Do you know how much?
Yeah, I don't think we should have drug arrests.
Zero. Let me tell you though, 0.5 arrests for drugs here in the city of the Woodlands. And we have heavy police presence because we are funding our police departments, because the police officers are doing what they're supposed to do. People are less prone to doing drugs because they'd rather stay away from drugs than spend 20 years in prison or be sentenced to death. If we actually, like I said, guys, discipline.
Yeah, but dude, even under the even under the USSR, they made it illegal to smuggle in fucking food into to that country, and they couldn't even stop people from smuggling food into the USSR.
If you don't eat, you die. That's a whole. You just went to a whole other territory.
What I'm trying to say is that if there's a high enough price, if there's a high enough demand and the price is high enough, people will smuggle in anything. It doesn't matter whether it's drugs, whether it's food, whether it's fucking tobacco. And when you make a drug illegal, you are unnecessary. You are inadvertently increasing the demand and lowering the supply, which increases the price. That's why you see drug dealers do this.
Okay. You actually have a very good point, Ken. You actually have a very good point right there. I'm gonna say this. First of all, I don't know what kind of stupid idiot you'll be to want to go do drugs. Obviously, you're putting your life on the line. But let's say your life is just that fucked up and you have nothing better to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go do your drugs. You know what? That benefits me because it's less competition in the workplace. It's less people on Earth. It's less global warming, and it's more money for me by the end of the day. So why do I have to care?
Because, so you agree with me? Oh, so you're conceding the debate. Legalize drugs.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic.
But people, but even if somebody's doing drugs like recreational, hold on. I just got one question. I'm sorry. So I'm trying not to. I don't want to cut you off too much, but let's say somebody's smoking weed in their house. Who are they harming? Like, what's the issue with that?
Who are they harming? They're harming themselves, dude. I care, and like I said, behind my organization.
Well, I mean, like who else? I mean, are they harming another? Another person? They may be. I mean, it may not be.
No, themselves. No, I'm about yourself, King. I would.
Yeah, but when I say who are they harming, I mean like who are they hurting other than themselves?
No, my problem is you're putting yourself in a position that can take. I don't want to see you die. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you physically and emotionally healthy.
For the record, people don't die from smoking marijuana. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It makes them depressed, sick. There are a lot of. Okay, tell me one benefit. Just tell me one benefit for the long term that marijuana or fentanyl has for a person. Just
people enjoy it. People enjoy it. People have fun.
No. That's not a benefit. Enjoying something is not a benefit. Enjoying raping a child is not a benefit.
It doesn't matter to me the reason why they want to do it. Hold on. It doesn't matter the reason why they want to do it. At the end of the day, it's your body. You're not harming anybody else.
Dude.
Smoke weed, man.
So why do we criminalize rape? You should actually
because you're whoa, bro. You understand that when you sexually assault another person, you're harming another person. With marijuana, you're not harming another person.
You do realize that when you take fentanyl and you expose that to somebody else, you're not only harming yourself and putting yourself.
Yeah, I don't think you should be. Hold on. I don't think you should be allowed to do drugs in public. The same thing with alcohol. Like you're not allowed to drink alcohol in public. I'm talking about. Let's say you're in your own house. I'm talking about. Let's say you're in your own house, and I just want to roll up a joint and smoke a joint. What's wrong with that? Why should I not be allowed to do that?
So you're saying that you're okay with people, and I'm all for freedom, right? I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a conservative. Conservatives, we don't like government. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that you're okay with people having the freedom, which is okay, right? You're okay with people going ahead and taking drugs and taking this spiral down a loop that might be almost uncoverable. And getting high every
it depends on the drug, obviously. Obviously, some drugs are worse than others. But yeah, if you want to try drugs, that's on you, man.
Marijuana is harmful. Marijuana is harmful.
Well, regardless of whether you, I agree. Regardless of whether you think it's good or marijuana is bad or you think it's the devil, it's your body and you have the choice to do what you want, and but at the end of the day, you face the consequences of your own actions. If you want to smoke marijuana and you feel like it's detrimental, then those people are just going to ruin their lives. It's not harming you that those people are smoking pot, right?
Yes it is. You know why? Because it's being trafficked. This 1-year-old at that day.
I'm talking about I'm talking under a legal system, not where there's no gang selling it, where it's like you go to the store and buy some marijuana. You know what I'm saying? I don't support cartels. I don't think cartels should be selling drugs. I think it should be all under the legal market, like selling chocolate or something. So if I'm going to the store and buying some marijuana at the local dispensary and doing it the illegal way, and I go home and I'm not harming anybody, I'm smoking pot, why should I not be allowed to do that? What's wrong with that?
Where's the difference with snorting marijuana or fentanyl and taking a knife and cutting off my wrist? Like, where's the difference with that?
Well, because
Where's the difference with fentanyl?
It's the degree. It's the degree, right?
No, fentanyl kills. Like fentanyl, we should even remove fentanyl from this discussion.
I didn't even mention fentanyl. You're the one that mentioned fentanyl.
Marijuana doesn't kill instantly, but it's still very harmful.
Yeah,
and it's proven by the National Health.
I don't care if it's harmful. who am I harming? Who else am I
So
harming?
you don't care about harmful. So you're essentially okay with legalizing self-harm. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, but you act like, okay, listen to me. It's your body. You're not harming another person. If you want to like smoke some
It's your
pot,
body. It's okay to harm your body. Yeah, I understand that. It's okay to harm
Mhm.
your body. The government shouldn't intervene when you're trying to harm yourself.
yeah, but there's
Absolutely correct.
hold on, but there's a degree to the harm, to the level of harm that is being
There's no
allowed.
degree.
So, for
Harm
instance, you're
is
not.
harm.
I wouldn't say.
We're now categorizing different levels of pain here.
Well, okay, but listen. Obviously, I wouldn't be okay with some guy just being allowed to grab a gun and just shoot himself on a whim, because that there's certain degrees. Like, obviously, I wouldn't be okay with somebody just slicing their fucking wrist and bleeding out. There's certain degrees to the level. You know what I mean?
Would I be okay? Wait. Neither would I be okay with somebody snorting a drug that can give them lung cancer in the long term. Why would I be okay with that?
You're talking about you're talking about somebody taking a drug, and if they do it every single day, then in maybe like 30 years or so, then they may have a higher chance of getting this disease or whatever, versus like shooting yourself.
They're gonna suffer a long, torturous, terrible death.
Yeah, but the only person,
without guarantee of being cured, and they're gonna eventually die.
Yeah, but the only person who's getting harmed by that action is the person who made that choice, correct?
Which means that you're supporting self-harm. It's still self-harm.
I mean, you could call it whatever you like. I don't care. I think that people should be allowed to take drugs if they want to.
I understand your point. Point. But what we can conclude from this is that.
But wait, you could make that point. Hold on. Do you think it's okay to eat cake with every meal? Do you think it should be illegal?
Oh, we're not. Please don't tell me you're gonna choose another example, not the cake example.
Okay, so let's say, what about bacon? You think bacon is good for you?
Bacon is meat.
Bacon. I'm talking about like
Yes, it is good. It's protein. It has carbs. It has protein.
No. It's not good to eat bacon with every meal. I'm talking about with every meal.
Who told you that?
Are you kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm a cook, dude. I'm a cook. I cook all sorts of food. I cook cuisine from different cultures.
Then how about this? You give me an example. Give me an example. Oh, no. Stop weaseling out of this, operator. Okay? Give me an example of a food or something that you can ingest that is not good for you. Go ahead.
Food is for nutrition. Food is to get nutrients to satisfy your stomach's needs, okay?
So there's not one piece of food that is not good for you to eat. Come on.
The narrative called junk food, and you try to take that as an example and compare it to something that can kill you instantaneously in the long term.
Okay, so you wouldn't say that there are certain foods that if you eat a lot are going to harm you in the long term or might kill you in the long term.
Dude, the thing is, the reason why your example is not valid is because you're not going to meet a person who's going to eat the same thing consecutively for years.
Yeah, but I understand that. But there are people.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You're not going to meet a person who's going to drink the same drink consecutively for many years.
Well, you never heard of an alcoholic?
Drugs, however. Alcohol is pretty different, okay? But drugs, however, is something different.
Mm-hmm. But
all of them are harmful. Mm-hmm. All of them can potentially harm you and kill you.
Yeah, but
to some degree.
Yeah, but you would also agree that there are some food that can harm you and kill you to some degree.
Please tell me one food. And what do we care?
Chocolate cake.
Actually, give me a second. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna open my dictionary here.
Okay.
Definition of food. Because we gotta.
What about soda? What about soda? You think it's okay to drink soda every day? Like for every
what?
Instead of drinking water, you just drink soda. You think that's okay? Like you think that's okay?
Soda
for you?
Is something different, dude. Did you know that? Let me take an example.
Bro, just answer the question.
What is soda? First of all, soda is based on carbonated water.
All right, so I know you're I don't understand why you're trying to like deny everything that I bring up to you. The point that I'm trying to make is there are tons of things. Listen to me. There are tons of things other than food, right?
It depends on the ingredients. What ingredients are you using?
Listen,
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
No.
Okay,
Coca-Cola is not even soda. It's not. It's poison at this point.
Okay, so
Do research.
Coca-Cola. Listen, stop. Listen,
News agencies
Texan.
Have done research.
I get it.
on
I agree.
Coca-Cola.
I agree. Texan. But listen. I agree.
Let's just go back to definition.
We both agree that Coca-Cola is not good for you, and if you drink it instead of drinking water,
it's funny.
It's going to harm you over time, right?
Example, it's pretty funny. I was.
Do you not agree with that?
Now.
Do you not agree with that?
No. Soda. What's soda? Okay, for Coca-Cola specifically, yes.
Okay, so should it be illegal for people to drink Coca-Cola every day?
That I can't make that decision because.
What do you think? What is your opinion?
Coca-Cola. If we're talking about the franchise, personally, okay, if you drink one can of Coca-Cola, let's say per day, it's not going to harm you. If you drink it instead of water, because our body needs what, 70%?
Yes, if you drink it instead of water, yes.
Yes.
It should be illegal? You think that should be illegal?
However, no, it shouldn't be illegal because
why?
It won't kill you. It can kill you.
It won't kill you. You don't think Coca-Cola can kill you?
If you drink it conservatively, it will not harm you.
I'm not talking about a person that's drinking it conservatively. I'm giving you a specific example of somebody who's drinking it excessively instead of water. Do you think that should be illegal?
Why would the government, a person? Let's pretend Winston is a president of the United States, and I have executive.
Yes, you are the supreme leader of the USA. Yes. What do you think?
I am the supreme dictator of the United States.
What do you think?
would.
Should it be illegal?
Yes, I would prosecute all of these soda companies for putting ingredients in their soda that harms people, and I would tell people, hey, you know what? The funny thing is that something my parents have always taught me is homemade food. And so the beautiful thing about soda and Coca-Cola, so for those of you like Coca-Cola, Fanta, and all of these sodas, the beautiful thing is that there's a way to make it by yourself at home. There are actually healthier alternatives with healthier ingredients that you can use to make the same exact thing.
Bro, this is completely beside the point. This has nothing to do with the point. This has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Hold on, guys. We're getting we're yelling at each other unnecessarily.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So, do you it doesn't maybe I'm maybe getting a gist of it. Like we went from from sex work to fast food to drugs to sex to fast food again. So
it's not my fault. He's the one who put up chocolate cake.
No, it's okay. It's not. I get it, Winston. It's not. It's like
I was just using it as an example. It's just
funny at this point. No, go back down for a bit. Go back down. So, do you it doesn't seem like you're gonna go I'm not sure. Do you guys want to continue the debate, or do you want to go to the question, because it seems like it's gonna go in this fast food circle.
Okay. I think. Do you have any last points?
This is a request, though. I request him to use another example aside from food, because
sure. Go for it.
Yeah, okay. What about? Okay, I got another example. What about let's say a really risky behavior, like climbing Mount Everest. That's really risky. A lot of people die climbing Mount Everest. You know, a lot of people
died in the 1980s. All the people have climbed Mount Everest in these modern times with the amount of technology.
Driving's a great example. Driving, should we make driving illegal? A lot of people die from driving. That's one of the biggest things that kill us.
I actually want to make something interesting, and I know you're going to hate me for it. Especially those of you who do not believe in the Bible. Mm-hmm. A lot of you are going to hate me for what I'm going to say, but driving has been here for a long time, a very long time. And there's a verse, and you don't have to believe me, okay? So before you even roast me, you don't have to believe me, okay? This is just something I believe as a Christian.
Okay.
There is a verse. I do not have the exact verse with me, unfortunately. I'm not the best at memorizing verses, but there's a verse in the book of Isaiah, and the prophet Isaiah was describing these structures that were going at high, rapid speeds, and that had
Texan,
yes.
No offense, but this has nothing to do with what I just asked you. Okay,
I didn't.
I'm just
I didn't.
Let him finish off his points,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then he can rebuttal. That's fine.
Okay.
The Bible describes these structures that people would travel in at very high speeds, and they had beams of light. Keep in mind, this was written thousands of years ago, and so we don't know if it's exactly a car, but the prophet is describing something that is very similar to a car.
Mhm.
And so this is something that has been existing for thousands of years. And so traveling, we didn't get from point A to point B. There are safe ways to do it. There are risks that involve in it. However, we cannot control those risks. Right above me, I have a spinning fan. It's hot in my room. I mean, I have a spinning fan. I'm wearing this coat because, like, I have a shirt. You guys don't want to see what's under here, so I always like to wear a coat when I come on here. I have a fan spinning above me. Let's say the architect of this house did not install this fan correctly. There's a risk of this fan actually falling from the ceiling and harming me. So does that mean that we should make fans illegal? Hell no.
Well, hold on, but that's exactly my point, right? Isn't that exactly my point, right?
The thing is, you can't compare it with drugs.
But hold on. I allowed you to. Okay, brother. I understand I understand where you're coming from. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of things that we do every single day that could be considered to be pretty damn risky. You know what I'm saying? And there's things that people like climbing Mount Everest. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But people do it. They rest their. Huh? Yeah, you don't like the same. Yeah, the same way you don't have to do drugs. Yeah, exactly. The same way you don't have to do drugs. So should that be illegal simply because there's a lot of people that die from climbing Mount Everest?
Okay. I feel like over the course of this entire conversation, you have been asking me questions. I just want to ask you questions now.
Well,
so,
if you can answer that one question, and then you can ask me whatever.
Yeah, I'll answer. I'll answer that last question. Can you repeat it for me, please?
Yeah, so like there's a lot of you asked me for another example other than like fast food of something that you could do that is really risky and can harm you. That is legal, and I gave up the example of like climbing Mount Everest. There's a lot of people who died climbing Mount Everest. People who get their fingers frozen to death. Fingers frozen off. A lot of there's a lot of bad things sometimes that happen when you climb Mount Everest, and you don't really need to do that. That's just sort of like a recreational activity. Like you're kind of just putting yourself in harm's way just for the fun of it. Should that be illegal?
So I'm actually gonna respond to you with a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me actually need to formulate this. I actually want to make this so.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between needing to do something and wanting to do something.
Yeah.
Do I have to drive every morning to work? For example, for those of you, I'm trying to join the military. I want to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to drive from my house to the airport? I do. And I actively risk my life to do that. I have family to feed. I have a wife to feed. I have children to feed. I'm going to have to drive.
Take the Mount Everest example.
They're not finished. Yes.
Yeah.
I have to drive from my house to the airport so I can feed my family. And compare that with actually taking drugs, or compare that with climbing Mount Everest. What is the difference? There's a significant difference.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying I'm not comparing Mount Everest to driving. I'm comparing Mount Everest to doing drugs. It's a recreational activity. You don't really need to do it. People just simply do it for fun, and it could be very bad for you, and it could kill you. So shouldn't climbing Mount Everest be illegal under your standards? Because it's just you're only doing it for fun. It's very risky. Why?
Thankfully, over the course of the years, we have developed the most advanced technology that can allow humans to climb there with almost no difficulty. I mean, as long as you have a group and as long as you have the proper gear needed, there's a low chance of you freezing to death, as you mentioned. People who try to climb Mount Everest, I mean, you need to give me an example. An example you should have given me was working on oil rig. For example.
All right. Well, then how about that then? Person working on an oil rig. It's very dangerous.
The thing with oil rigs is
but the problem with the oil rig, right, is that that's a job. Like people need to work.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but that's the reason why I use the Mount Everest example is because it's a recreational activity.
Yeah, people don't die. People don't die, man. There's China hosts these tours every year. People are going every year. I haven't heard of death so far, and it's very rare. I mean, I may have not been aware of it, but it's rare. They're hosting these tours every year. You can literally find.
Oh, you're talking about Mount Everest?
Yeah, I'm talking about Mount Everest.
People still die from climbing up Mount Everest. They have blizzards and crazy things that still go up there.
And do the ratio. So you're going to compare that one specific person who died from climbing Mount Everest to this almost 700,000 people who died last year of drug overdose. You're going to compare.
But there are certain drugs, right, that don't kill people at all, such as marijuana, and you think that should be illegal. So more people have died from climbing Mount. Hold on. More people have died from climbing Mount Everest than smoking marijuana, and you think marijuana should be illegal, but climbing Mount Everest is a-okay.
The thing is, they died, right? They died.
Well, but there's physical harm people go through. People get frostbite and shit.
People who climb Mount Everest aren't going to have to live 50 years suffering from lung cancer and maybe spend the rest of their life in a hospital.
Wait. Some people lose their fingers from getting frostbite. You don't think that affects them in a negative way?
Wait a minute. Today, no.
You don't think with the temperatures like that how cold it gets up there, people.
You can't compare that with lung cancer. We have technology to protect your hands.
So it seems to me, no matter what example I give to for you, no matter how risky the behavior is, no matter how just simply recreational it is, no matter what,
compare.
Nothing compares to drugs. Marijuana is just so much worse for you than Mount. So much worse than even climbing out Mount Everest. You're
gonna smoke at marijuana. You're gonna smoke at marijuana, and then
if you smoke marijuana, you're risking yourself more than climbing Mount Everest.
Tell me a disease you can get from climbing Mount Everest. Just tell me one.
You could get frostbite and freeze your fingers off.
You're gonna get frostbite if you don't travel with the proper gear.
Okay? It's still a risk.
Oh,
it's
no,
a risk.
All right.
What risk is higher? What risk is
I'll
higher?
calm down. I'm sorry. I'll calm down. It's still a risk. It's still a risk. It's still a risk. Okay.
Everybody's very excited.
No, I'm sorry. We're getting a little hopped up. Sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
Mm-hmm. But what I was gonna just a little bit more, and then we'll move on to the next one.
All right.
So, but
gotcha.
Literally, there are so many things in life that harm you, that could kill you, that are just recreational activities that harm you, that kill you. You're way more likely to die doing these activities than smoking marijuana.
Cite this. Bro, I see the game you're trying to play here, man, but that game's not going to work. You cannot tell me that so if you're president of the United States, you cannot tell me that you're going to advocate or going to support the legalization of activities. And I'm not talking about, and by activities, I'm talking about the medical ones, right? Yes. Specifically drugs. That you're going to support activities that you put your life at risk.
Yes.
You cannot support Mount Everest. Look, this dude literally just put an image in the chat here of the number of deaths of mountain climbing. Hold on, what did he say? Did he say it was like what?
Yes, 1 out of 3,000. Yeah, that's 1 out of 3,000. Yeah, so people do die from doing these things.
So you're gonna compare, and I'm a pro-life. I consider myself to be a pro-life activist. Mm-hmm. You cannot compare 17 lives to 700,000 in a year.
Well,
in a year.
Hold on.
Think about that for a second, man. Think about.
No, I'm not comparing one in terms of like their death count. What I'm saying is that they're both risk. We both agreed they're both risk. The only point. Listen, I'm just gonna make this one point. Hold on, I'm just gonna make this last point, and then after that, I want to move. We can just move on after this because it seems like we're not really gonna agree on this. My only point when I brought up the Mount Everest and mountain climbing and things like that is that maybe I don't know who dies more from what activity, but they're both activities that hold on. They're both activities that people can do that are risky, that could harm you, that could kill you, right? And you don't necessarily need to do that. They're just sort of fun things to do. And the same thing with like certain drugs, like such as marijuana. Marijuana has never really killed anybody, but
explain to me how it's fun,
huh?
Or how it's beneficial, or
people do drugs. People do drugs for fun.
No, but I want to hear from you, right? I want to hear from you, not people. I want to hear, like, how is it fun?
Well, people enjoy the euphoric feelings that they get from doing drugs.
Okay, good point. Well, before we move on to this topic, like I said, guys, Rebecca Kaisley, she's out there, man. Let me mention this. She lost her 2 sons from fentanyl overdose. I also have 5 other stories that 5 other of my contacts shared with me, which I'm going to share with you guys right now before we get off the topic, because I think it's worth it. This is just to seal my point. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna provide their last name, but this is from Emily. She had an opioid addiction. She was a college student and she started using prescription opioids recreationally at parties. And I'm going to repeat her story. And so, quote, what began as an occasional use quickly turned into a full-blown addiction. I began stealing pills from family members and eventually turned to heroin to feed this habit. My life spiraled out of my control. I lost my job. I school. I strained my relationships with my loved ones. I overdosed twice, narrowly escaping death both times. So she didn't die, but she was near that point. It was only after seeking treatment and therapy that I managed to overcome my addiction and rebuild my life. This is from John. John he's high up in the echelons of success in the world. John is a successful businessman. He started using cocaine recreationally at social events. One night, he attended a party where he used cocaine and it was being sold, and it was of a much higher purity than he was used to, right? He decided to indulge it and ended up binging on the drug. As the night progressed, he experienced severe chest pain and difficulty breathing. Like I mentioned, drugs will always affect your lungs first. He panicked. He was rushed to the hospital where he was diagnosed with a heart attack. Pretty ironic, right? I actually had a heart attack
Yeah,
recently.
can we move on now? All right.
No, this is for the audience. I'm almost done here. This is for the audience. The doctors explained that high doses of cocaine had severely damaged his heart and that John's life was forever changed as he now lives with a compromised cardiac condition. Like I said, because he used cocaine, he's now going to suffer with a long-term condition for the rest of his life, and he's eventually going to die with it. What a terrible way to die. And before I finish, just one verse, because like I said, I'm Christian, and I always base my arguments
can we move on? Yeah.
Just let him.
This is for the audience. I should have the right to say this. 1 Corinthians 6:12. 1 Corinthians 6:12. I have the right to do anything. And what's even ironic is that the Apostle Paul here supports freedom, the freedom of choice. I have the right to do everything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. Be the fruit of the Spirit. It's love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Discipline is the name of the game. I yield back.
Okay. So, if there's any last words, or do you want to say anything else?
I mean, yeah, drugs can be bad sometimes if you're not careful. But I guess in the end of the day, I don't really believe in God or anything like that. So I think that, like I said, if you want to take drugs, as long as you're not harming another person, as long as you're doing it in your own property, I think you should have the right to do that, man. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on to question. Zenio, he's been waiting.
Wait, weren't we gonna go into the next topic, or do you want to ask questions?
Like, I'm pretty sure it's pornography. It was prostitute pornography, and then drug usage.
And then it was I think it was abortion after this one.
We already covered abortion though. Like that. Do you want to recover that?
Well, I never debated it with him on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got you. We can debate that one. We can debate this final one, then we can set it off. That's fine.
It seems to me that the audience doesn't want abortion. I mean, I'd be more than happy to debate it, but it doesn't look like the audience wants it.
I mean, if they don't want it, then we could just move on to questions.
Sure. So Zenio, I'm gonna bring you up. I guess you guys can talk about abortion in like the VCS after this, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna bring Zenio up. Here you go, Zenio. Since you've been waiting patiently. Let's see.
And let's just keep it a question and not a whole
whole debate,
lecture. Yeah.
I don't mean somebody just said, "What about the Palestinian genocide?" Oh hell no!
Listen, that's beyond me, bro. I don't know nothing about that.
Bro, please.
Is Zenio still here?
Zenio, make it to the stage.
I think you gotta. He's raising his hand. I think you gotta just let him in.
I think.
No, I selected him already. He hasn't accepted. Maybe he's not here.
Zenial?
I don't think he's there.
Show request.
Uh,
Invite. It says
what is it?
invite sent.
Yeah,
If he could, maybe just type the question in the
I'm
chat.
trying. He's trying to. Okay, let me get you admin. Not admin. Mod for a bit so you can get on stage. All you need to do is raise your hand, and then you should see the be able to raise your hand.
There
Yeah,
you
there
go.
you go. There you
Mhm.
go. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to debate with you guys for a little bit, if that's okay.
We're not really.
Then-
We can do debates after the in the VC afterwards.
Yeah,
you know?
we could
If
talk.
you're-
Yeah, we could have more extensive conversations after this, but just a question for now, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I do have one question though. It's on the topic of it's at the beginning topic with the porn and stuff like that. My question is that why do you think that it is morally okay for people to why is it morally okay for you to have that on your person?
Is that a question towards me? Like, are you asking me, like,
Yeah.
why is it morally right to have porn or watch porn or something like that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the end of the day, me personally, I don't think people should watch porn. I think porn is kind of fucked, in my personal opinion. I don't think people should watch porn, but do I think it's immoral? No, not necessarily. Like, you're not really hurting anybody by having porn on you. As long as the people who were in the video willingly did it, I don't see any problem with that. I don't see it as being like immoral.
I mean, it kind of is immoral in a sense, and legally, it really shouldn't. And legally, it shouldn't really be. It shouldn't really be here.
Okay, so
should
is that
be
it?
illegal.
Is that your only question?
In my opinion.
Yeah. So is that your question?
Yes.
All right. Next person.
All right. Let me see. Next is Sharif. So, waiting patiently. I kept track of everybody.
Yo, what's good?
Hi, how you doing?
Yo, what's good, Sharif?
Yeah, okay, so, just a heads up, I'm playing League. I waited so long that I started a game of League, so I'm gonna be a little autistic when I'm talking.
All good.
Just bear with me. Give me 1 second. I'm taking this dragon. You guys may keep talking. Just give me 1 minute. I'll be with you guys.
Well, how
All right,
about you
we're
get
gonna drag you
the
down.
next person up then? I guess yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. All right, Cinderman. And then we go to Prophet, and then we go back to Sharif. What is it, Cinderman? Hello,
Hello, can you
Cinder?
hear me? Hello?
Yep, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yes.
Right. Hi. So one question I had for KingSithis.
Yep, that's me. That's me.
Okay. So with the legalization of drugs that we see, at least in Oregon and New York, and well, it's sort of New York, I guess. I'm not really up to date on that one, but we see a lot of degradation that's going on with the cities. How a lot of people have not been participating in their jobs ethics and being able to upkeep the cities. What is your thought on the fact that we have legalized in the current locations, I suppose, and the detriment that happens when it's not supervised?
No, good question. Good question. The problem with a lot of those states is they don't actually fully legalize drugs. What they do is decriminalize drugs. And there is a distinction between legalizing and decriminalizing. See, decriminalizing is basically when you're allowed to buy it, but you're not allowed to sell it. So basically, stores and places like pharmaceutical companies and places aren't allowed to open up shop in order to sell those drugs to people, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Just hold on, I have a couple of things. So to those people, so that the criminal element isn't basically involved anymore. And so also the other issue that basically is going on over there is that they've decriminalized drugs, right? But they allow people to be basically to do drugs in public. They not only do they allow people to do drugs in public, which I'm completely against. They basically defunded a lot of their police officers so that they can't come in and stop people who are doing criminal acts while they're on drugs. They've basically taken away the bail system so that drug people can basically get out of prison as soon as they commit a crime or hurt some other person. So I don't think it's simply the decriminalization of drugs that is causing a lot of I think it's a culmination of issues. Although I do want people to be allowed to do drugs, I think that New York and all these other states are doing it in the absolute wrong way of doing it. I think that if you're a person on the street doing drugs, I think you should be either have two options, either rehab or prison.
I will say though, as far as it goes when it comes to the I guess decriminalization versus legalization, there's still the precipice of the fact that you're going to have people who substantially abuse drugs, and the main concern for the general populi is how that will affect others, considering the fact that while you're intoxicated, you're going to do, like you said, crimes, or you're going to do it in front of others.
So that's why I think I agree. That's why I think it should be illegal to do drugs. Like, I think the drugs law should be the same way as we handle alcohol. You're not allowed to do it in public. You're only allowed to do it in specific places. And if you harm a person while it's legal, it's still illegal. If you're a person, so if you're drinking alcohol or you take heroin and you go and punch somebody in the face, that action is still illegal. You know what I'm saying? That person is still. The
follow-up question I do have with you is, if we do legalize drugs, where do we draw a line on being able to actually prosecute drug dealers who might then go about selling drugs at a cheaper cost than the federal? And how would you deal with that kind of circumstance?
Well, the main reason why a lot of these new drugs, when they first start to like legalize drugs, it's still more expensive than the what you call it, the illegal market, is because a lot of the time the government puts a little bit too much regulations. They put too many approval processes, and they tax the crap out of it. So that's I feel like if we were to remove a lot of these barriers that we put in a lot of these drug companies' ways in order to sell the drugs and do it as efficiently as the ones that are doing it illegally, at the end of the day, I think that if they do it the correct way and they're allowed to do it over time, drug dealers and things like that, they simply cannot compete with pharmaceutical companies and drug companies with the economy of scale. And the economy of the scales that they have. So in the beginning, it'll probably be take some time to do it. But if you look at something like marijuana, we used to buy marijuana from Mexico. You know what I'm saying? We used to buy that dirt weed. We used to call it dirt weed.
We also used to dilute drugs.
It's
not the precipice of the question.
So the thing is, the thing is, we don't do that anymore. Most people who are in legal states don't buy from people who do it illegally. They go to the dispensaries, they go to their smoke shops, and they get it there now.
Now, as far as with the prostitution that we talked about earlier and legalizing sex, my question is, because I didn't quite grasp your stance on it, do you believe that it is currently wrong to do so when it would stem forth to help people who are less inclined to be able to find a partner and help afflict that type of issues that stem for it, which is either violence or, of course, these corn and other relatable bad stuff or grape? And would you say that it would help in those situations to at least provide a service systematically through like a federal means of legal prostitution?
Oh, like legal brothels? Yeah, that's the reason why I think it should be legal, because the problem is, like, when it's illegal, women are going to listen. Sex work has been with us since the beginning of time. People have been, women have been having sex for money before we could probably even write things down. So, it's sort of just a thing. It's just
in the upcoming
absolutely, absolutely,
with the financial assistance that brothels have provided in the past.
But if you could allow me to answer, the thing is, where would you rather be done? Would you rather be done out on the streets where women have pimps and they have, a guy can do anything to them at any moment? They don't really have the security. They could get it hooked on. Somebody could get them hooked on drugs and force them to do it. Or would you rather it be done in the open market where we have regulation and we have laws and you could call the police if something bad were to happen? Obviously, I would rather have the latter. It's much more safer.
Now, the question that stems forth from that, sorry for interrupting again.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question that stems forth from that is, how would you legally draw forth a system that would work? Would you go federal or would you go private? Would it be a marketable type of situation, or a okay? So,
But it would
you
be
know that
regulated.
with
But it would be regulated, like a regulated private market. Yeah.
okay, because
Mhm.
most private markets do come with inevitable problems, like as we've seen with child labor and other things like that. There are certain circumstances that come and happen in private locations versus aka federal,
Yeah, that's why we
and you
have
know,
like regulators and the government. So like, I don't think it should be like laissez-faire capitalism where like you could just grab any bitch and put her in her house. There obviously
yeah,
should be rules, and you should respect the women and this and this and that. And if anything goes wrong, they should be allowed to call the police. So, obviously the 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 normal basic rules.
all right,
Yeah.
that, that'll be all my questions.
Yep. No problem, man. Good
Okay.
questions. Good questions. Anyone else?
All right, knowledge. What is it? Knowledge, and then we're gonna go Sharif. Back to Sharif. Knowledge. Knowledge.
Did you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just gonna say something on food, like the poisonous foods that are out there. I forget most of what I was gonna say, but like there are foods like blowfish that are poisonous, is legal in places. Cherry pits have cyanide in them, but most people don't
Mm.
die from that. Mushrooms, some other foods, but yeah, a lot of things you can die from food. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
make cherries illegal anytime soon.
Wait, what was the question?
What was
No,
the question,
I
bro?
was like saying like the
Oh,
stuff
you
that
just
you
went to
guys
a
talked about
farmer's
earlier
market.
about the foods and stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want to bring up Sharif. Knowledge.
Oh,
All right.
Zenial asked me if so are you pro human trafficking?
Can you guys
No.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Hello?
brother.
Okay. So, King, I'm gonna call you King because I'm
No
not
problem.
all right. So, when you say what's it called? When you say as long as they're not harming themselves, it's okay, right?
No, I said as long as they're not harming other people.
As long as they're not harming other people.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just put it the example of a father, right? Of a
Mhm.
family, right? Wouldn't he have responsibility over his family? And wouldn't he be harming his family by getting himself into drugs, right?
I'm talking about like physical harm. But if you think that if you were to ask me, do you think parents should be allowed to take drugs in front of their children? No, I think that should be illegal.
But you said as long as it's done inside your house, it's fine, right?
Yeah, but the
So-
thing is, the thing is, like, I'm talking about a situation where you're by yourself, or maybe there's another adult willing participant. When you bring children into the mix, it's kind of a different story.
So so basically you're saying you're fine with drug use as long as it's with moderation and it's controlled.
Yeah, as long as
right?
I mean, if you're a guy in your own house, you don't got anybody else there, or you just have a friend there that's willing as well, and you take
Right.
drugs, like, that's not an issue. I don't probably see a
Okay.
problem with that.
And is the type of drugs an issue or no?
No, I don't have any problem with any drug as long, it's one thing if you're trying to overdose yourself, that's a different story. But I mean, if you want to shoot heroin or take meth, I mean, have at it.
But don't you think those drugs have, I mean, you've been making the case for weed, right? Like it's safe and it's all good, right? But drugs like heroin and cocaine, these are highly addictive drugs, right? A person doesn't have control over it. As much as you want to lie to yourself and say, you know what, I'll do my best and, I'll do this in moderation. The
If you
reason most people,
yeah, so
Mhm.
my answer to that is that in the end of the day, if you're an adult and people understand that, I mean, you're an adult, and the choices that you make, you have to pay for the consequences for the choices that you make. So if you decide to take heroin, knowing that you're going to get addicted, and you get addicted as a result of that, well, that's on you. I don't think it's the government's job to throw you in jail or punish you for doing that.
Okay, what if you're a father? Don't you have the right on your wife? You know what I mean? Doesn't your wife
I
have a
believe
right on you?
I've already,
Don't your kids?
not your wife, I mean, but your kids, that's a different story.
Your wife doesn't have any rights on you?
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on what you mean.
No, I mean, don't you have responsibility to your wife,
If you were to ask me personally, yeah, I would think so, but like more legally, no, not necessarily, right? I mean,
Okay. Sorry, I'm playing League. I cannot elaborate on this. So
You're good.
yeah. Thank you.
Hmm.
No worries. Cinnamon, up again. All right. We're gonna take this question. If anyone has another question, that's gonna be it. Yeah. If they want to bring come back up,
Hmm.
just for the
Yeah,
parts.
my bad. I had one last question.
No worries.
I'm not sure what you are, if you're a leftist or a libertarian
Libertarian.
or anything. Okay, libertarian.
Mhm.
I thought so. Can you agree that the right side may or may not be approaching these topics on a preventative manner due to the potential over the excess and accessibility, more so than and so on and so forth, of like the potential harms that come to these topics, and that maybe you guys are agreeing to a degree. However, there are two different approaches being filtered through, and that maybe there's an impasse because one wants to disallow new potential harms, while the other one's wanting to be moderate about it. Or
Wait, what's the
I
question?
can't formulate the question. Okay. If can we agree to say that maybe let's say, for example, operator side, they're trying to be more preventive, so they want to
Mhm.
take away things for the sacred cause of allowing accessibility to more potential harms due to the fact of excess that we are providing people by allowing accessibility to said drugs or to
Mhm.
said stuff. Can we at least agree that maybe both sides are agreeing that there's potential harms to this stuff? However, one comes with moderation, which, I mean, moderation helps in
It's a
everything.
spectrum.
And yeah,
So
and
yeah.
on one side is maybe just wanting to be full on preventative.
So there's a spectrum basically going on. The Texan operator, he's more like, if it's bad for you, like you should not be allowed to do it, because it's not good for you. And but the person
Correct.
more like me, I'm more on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's just like, okay, yeah, I do agree that it may be bad for you, but just simply because something is bad for you doesn't mean that you have the right to do it. I'm somewhere in the middle of that, or more on the right of that spectrum. He's more on, not in terms of like politics, more on like one side and the other. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a degree. You know what I mean? Obviously, I do think that doing heroin isn't really good for you, but it's always about whether or not like you have the right
Finding a
to,
balance.
yeah, whether or not you have the right to do what you want with your own body. And I think that freedom overrides the harm that is being caused to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
accept the consequences. Like, obviously, like there's gonna be some people that might be who might, get addicted. But I would argue that all of this stuff, like the accessibility issue, people getting addicted, people harming other people, all of this stuff is happening right now while it's illegal. Do you know what I'm saying? And
right.
I think that
They
legalizing it would
stem
just
for the
make it
thrill
better.
of doing it.
Yeah, I would say making it legal, we can at least see what's going on, and we can monitor what's going on, and we can regulate it and have the least amount of harm being done.
I think that there should be at least a guiding hand in these principles that we tackle. I mean, obviously, the example earlier provided was at Mount Everest.
Mm-hmm.
We have professional climbers for that, and usually they don't allow rookie climbers onto said location unless you have. I mean, obviously, you're going to have people who are going to sneak on, but for the most part, we do have systems in play. However, we don't have enough of a population count to be as recreational as we would like. For example,
Mm-hmm.
the current state that decriminalized it versus legalizing it, like you premised earlier. And I think there's a section of people that want to be preventative, and there's a section of people that want to be moderate, but the in between is getting lost in the translation.
Yeah, it seems like
And
the
I think,
liberals on one side, they want people to do drugs, right? But they don't want to
and they
tell
found an
people. But they don't
extreme
want to tell
balance.
people what to do, right? At the same time, like you want to be able to, oh yeah, do drugs, and you should be allowed to do it in public, and you should be allowed to camp out in public. Also, we should defund the police. Also, we should do this. That's a terrible approach. You know what I'm saying? I'm more on the
Yeah.
side of like, yeah, I think you should be allowed to do heroin, but at the same time, we have to have a respect for law and order. We can't allow people to do crazy things, and you have to do it responsibly, and there has to be rules, right? That's where I'm at.
All right. I'll be leaving state.
I think Zenial had
All right.
a one question as well.
Yeah. Let's bring up Daniel. And to VC after that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then he'll come up. All right, wait, hold up. You got this situation. I remember. Let me see.
Well, why don't he type out his question?
I'm gonna bring him up stage. Stuff. All right, your stuff now. You can come up.
I wonder why that's doing that.
I have no idea. It's the same thing that happens with me on mobile. The new mobile. Yeah, it is a mobile situation. Has happened to me for sure. All right, it's not coming up.
If you want, just type out your question.
Yeah, Daniel is glitching. Oh,
All right, so
come back and yeah.
let's just go to VC.
You want to go to VC?
Yeah, let's go
All
to VC. Okay, but I just want to let y'all know I'm still gonna be streaming, so don't say nothing crazy. Oh wait, he's
All
here.
right. Schizo VC or chill VC because I don't.
Yeah,
Let me see. They're gonna have a conversation above.
Wait, Zenial, what you had a question?
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
what? Okay, so what? How do you describe freedom? Is what my quick question is.
Well, I guess ideally it's just being allowed to do whatever you want, while not restricting, not harming violating other people's rights.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be considered as anarchy as well?
No, because you can't violate other people's rights.
That's all
I do
had,
believe in a
because
government. I'm not anarchist.
All right.
Because the points that you were making, it seemed like you were like an anarchist or something like that.
No,
That's all I was.
No,
say.
anarchists are dumb. No. All right, that's it. All right.
All right. I'll see you in Chill VC.
Chill
I'll
VC.
see you guys over. Yep. Sounds good.
Woo! That was fun. What's up?
Hola.
What's going on, guys? That was fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to
things-
jump your throat a little bit though, because it was a little pressured. I understood where you were coming from.
Well, you could jump my throat now.
Nah, I'm not doing. You're a pretty chill guy. I get where you're coming from, and I understand the degree in which you're trying to process through. But because debates get heated and emotions get tossed in, the logic kind of starts to falter.
Yeah.
As we're trying to approach the conversations, and I know it becomes a little bit tough, but we got to muddle through it. And
I think the only time where I got a little bit frustrated was when, not with you, but with Texan, was he was like, no matter what example I gave, like, obviously, eating fucking chocolate cake every single day, that's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? And like, he wouldn't even like agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just nothing I gave to him he would agree with it. Oh, well, what if you exercise? Or what if you did? That was like frustrating the hell out of me a little bit. Not gonna lie.
The real problem though with that conversation is that it wasn't about the legality of it. It was about the morality of it, and that's the whole point of this debate is whether or not it should be legal.
Yeah.
And at the core of it, laws aren't built on morality, and it's important to make that distinction. So you can't apply some religious or some ulterior morality to how you can interpret or look at laws. It's a completely different outlook.
No, yeah, you're right. I probably should have brought that up when I was talking to him, because what the thing is, I kept asking, all right, well, so what do you think? Like, because he kept going like, oh, as a Christian man, or in the Bible, or as a person as a conservative, or as a this, or a conservative would say it, and it was just like, I don't care about any of that. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me what you think. You know what I'm saying? So we can go back and forth on it.
want him to come in because I wanna approach him on that and kind of just like
Where
grill
is
him a
he?
little bit on that. Like I don't know, he's not here. We want to get him in here.
I could text. I'll message him and I'll message him.
Have him come here. Like I just friendly conversation.
Hmm.
See, a lot
But
of what's being approached in these conversations is that people will inevitably try to drive home a singular point, but they don't formulate it in a cognitive sense that we can understand and approach it in a logistical term. We approach it in a feeling and philosophical term, and it causes a lot of disruption when you're having these debates.
I
yeah,
agree. But
I'm gonna
especially
message.
when the subject is it legal or not,
Right.
right? It's when you start looking at things from a legal mindset, you
You have
whatever
to go a
more.
little bit white and black on it.
Oh, are you
I
a
know.
VTuber?
A little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm just starting fresh, so hi.
that's cool. Wait, did you make that or?
Yeah, kind of. It's a borrowed
Oh,
asset, and then I made it into sort of a
That's
revamp
dope,
of the
dope, dope,
situation.
dope. I used to do that shit. I
wow.
used to be into that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also a VR podcaster, so I'm trying to get the word out to start bringing back accountability and common sense to the folks of VR.
Base.
Mm.
What's your YouTube channel? Plug yourself.
It's Virtual Paradox
All right,
VR.
W. So yeah, so I kind of just do the Discord debate and I make YouTube videos. So yeah,
That's
and I'm
fair.
gonna turn this debate that debate that I just had into a YouTube video and like kind of I do what Destiny does where he turns his debates into like YouTube videos, like
I'm trying. I'm just starting out. I'm having a lot of lashback because I have to deal with such situations like LGBTQ and BLM and so on and so forth. But I'm dealing on the extremist level. Like I understand where their approach comes from when it comes to based off of feelings. However, there is a larger concern when it comes to the bigger image and how this affects the generations as they come. Because we're removing accountability with the VR sense and the anonymity that comes with it.
mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to bring that back.
Oh, based. Yeah, what were we talking about before? We're talking about like legal and
Legalization of drugs, prostitution, and possibly abortion, but that kind of got cut off.
you know what the thing is? I had like 3 abortion debates with 2 other guys, in this same server. So I think Cephas was kind of just like he's like I don't want to talk about it.
I'm on the fence on abortion. Abortion's a little strange to talk about because again, it's your body, your choice, in my opinion. However, there's also the finer points that come with it when you start talking about child support and everything else, and
Yeah.
you have to deconstruct the whole system that evolves around the abortion portion.
Yeah,
And
wait. To me. I'm gonna like for the abortion conversation. To me, you've already gone too far. The whole point about you've already gone too far about child support and all that. At the end of the day, right? If your position is that abortions are legal, whether they are a medical need or not, your position is wrong. Like flat out wrong. There's no reason why somebody can't have an abortion for medical purposes if they need it. That is.
oh no, I do believe in the medical approach to
I don't
it.
think anybody actually believes that though.
I don't think anybody is fighting you when it
there are
comes to
some
a
states
medical
where there
situation.
are,
What they're fighting about, and why I believe
but
that abortion has positive and its negatives, is the simple fact that you could sit there and allow yourself to think that maybe with how we
Hey,
approach the
Texan.
child systems, we can actually sit there and say that abandoning abortion is good in a premise to allow that the 2 powers that be, which is the male and the female, and come to terms to a fact that no longer does one power supersede another, and the rights that are infringed due to that.
Oh, I believe in the
See,
consciousness debate argument, which is like where does consciousness start? When does the human life start? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I come from a country where this conversation about abortion's been long had, and we've kind of moved on from it. But there's still a lot of conversations that happen about it. But what happens in this framework is that abortions are paid by the public healthcare system, but. And there's not many barriers for you to be able to get an abortion. But what happens is that you go through, counseling before going into an abortion, and it really is a last resort. And they try to look at
Well,
measures for you to be able to not get an abortion, and it typically comes down to a last resort, and the
here's the
abortion numbers are fairly low.
here's the truth about abortion. It if I'm gonna be 100% honest, because I like just saying it as straight as I can. Abortion was first driven from the fact that women have the right to. The women have several different rights when it comes to the birthing of a child. However, with that being premised, you have a situation where they govern over the male existence due to the procreation of a child. And the issue that stems from that is that it's not an arguable debate enough to where people can say, okay, abortion is bad. So what they did is that they transferred it from a male's rights perspective to a human rights perspective of the child. And that's why the argument is being fought so vehemently in crowds and groups and states. But realistically, it's actually a male's right motion when you think about it. Because it's just as a woman should have the opportunity to opt out of the child, so should the man have the opportunity to opt out the responsibility of paying for said child if they didn't want the child. There are two different consequences that happen when this child is born, but both parents share in those responsibilities.
Yeah,
And
see,
that's something that is
I
not being spoken about.
See, I slightly disagree with just a blanket statement that if the man doesn't want to provide, he doesn't have to. There, whether or not you want to agree to it or not, women have an impediment that men just simply don't have, which is that for the time that for a
It's the
portion of
conception and growth of the child, yes.
Yes, and this period of time is a period in which halters, high achieving women's careers.
Of course.
It doesn't and whereas men don't have that. So to just say that this guy can come in and potentially have a long term relationship with this woman and get her pregnant by accident, but get her pregnant, she decides to keep the kid, and he fucks off. I
Here,
don't think it's fair for that
I
child that they themselves were putting together to just have the woman decide
I
or
think
have
it
the
is.
man just walk out and
while
not have any responsibility to that
I think
child.
it is
Yeah,
fair.
my opinion. Hold on.
while I understand that this is a premise that dictates over the fact of the childbearing process, the overall consequences over a 9 month period, over an 18-year period, are two very distinct situations. And with that being said, there is a financial and fiscal situation that happens when the child is born, that the father now has to provide a good chunk of their profits and gains that require them to to survive off of. And now you're impeding on the
And
male's performance when it comes to being able to live happy and successful life,
Well, yeah.
just as
Whoa,
it
whoa, whoa,
does
whoa,
on
whoa.
women.
Hold on. Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that real
Yeah,
quick?
go for it.
So my problem with that is just like, if you have a child, right, or you have a baby, I think I agree that you should be allowed to have an abortion up to 20 to 24 weeks. I think anything after that, no, probably
Yeah,
definitely
that's a
not.
little bit.
So the thing
What
is,
does it
but
change?
the thing
What does
is,
it
like
change?
after the baby is out, right? After the baby is out of the womb, the only person who, I mean, what I was gonna say is, I feel like the person who, somebody has to take care of that baby. You know what I'm saying? And if the
Yes, of course.
responsibility, I believe, should fall on the people who made it. Like the whole woulda, coulda, shoulda situation, I mean, is already over once
That
the
should
baby is
happen
already
to
out of the womb.
both parents, however, but there's a lot of
Absolutely.
leeway that happens towards women, and this is no offense towards women. I have nothing against them. All I'm saying is by legal definition, by the legal terms that have been put in place, you have a situation where you have the women who end up not paying as much as some men do, and vice versa. You have some men who avoid the responsibility, and you have this whole situation that stems
All right,
off
shut
of
the
the
fuck up. Thank
inability
you.
of someone being responsible. And the issue is that taking it away requires people to start become more responsible towards said, having copulation and being able to have sex, and they start thinking about it more rather than a last resort situation.
Yeah, but if you do that, then people will men will basically have the right to walk away from their child. Like
That's understandable, but we also prosecute men far more than we do women when it comes into terms of like
yeah, but men
the
commit that
cost.
crimes more often. The men
Well,
are
that's
more
because
likely to
yes,
leave the home more likely than women are because they're the one that have the child. So
of course.
obviously they're gonna get convicted more for that situation, right?
That's why you would remove that from the situation of two obviously parents that are not consenting on the, or at least not on the equal terms of the procreation process, at least of maintaining the child
Did the
and
guy
having the
squirt
child.
his ejaculation into the woman?
I'm saying that they're both at fault for it.
Well, both are at fault, so
One
both should have.
decided
So
to
both should
have,
take the responsibility, right?
yes, both should take a responsibility, and both should also at least be concise when it comes to having sex. Use protection. Do this. Do
Yeah, but
that.
that's
Of
before.
course,
That's
The
but
excuse of being able
that's
to
yeah,
abort
but
at any given point.
that's in rose-colored situations. The
Yeah.
fact of the matter is that if you're talking about people who get abortions, it's more often than not an accident, right? So there is either one or two people who are unwilling to support and bring this child into life.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's only one person who should have the choice to end it, and that's the woman. And if she decides to bring that child to life, they are both responsible for it.
Absolutely.
And that's and I will say this as clearly as I can say it. Men should be allowed to ask for DNA tests if they are unsure, and women
Yes.
should shut the fuck up about doing it.
I mean, if you could say it's unfair to the man that he has to take care of a child that he didn't want or whatever, but you know what else is unfair? Your parents leaving you as a child.
course.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
probably the most unfair thing that could ever happen.
I just think that a lot of this stems from the inability for people to actually be concise adults when it comes to approaching the situation. A lot of them still adopt a high school mentality, and the responsibilities and accountabilities that follow, they don't tend to follow through with it. You know what I mean? And
That's why we need
this can
alimony
happen
and
from
child
either
support.
side, whether it is man or woman.
Yeah, that's why
Right,
child
so
support's good.
yeah, child support is good. It's
Yeah.
it's absolutely good, and it's especially
don't-
it's
I do agree with that. What I mean is, I don't agree with the fact that it's so precise towards men. You know what I mean? In this
So look, I'm
faceted
gonna
sense that a lot of it's very heavily inclined towards the man's responsibility over the woman's responsibility.
Well,
Okay,
the
look,
women are
I'm-
usually the one taking care of the child. It's usually the men that need to be sought after in order to, get more of the help that they need. Like if a man leaves a relationship more often than a woman leaves a kid, then obviously that men are going to be more represented.
Yes, but there's
in
also the
that
unspoken
situation.
cases and multiple, if not majorical situations where the woman leaves the man because he's unsuitable, at least to her monicum of dictation, like where she believes that he doesn't make enough or that he's lacking in the sex department or any numerical
Yeah, people have that
fucking thing
choice.
you could think about.
All
I know
right,
they
so-
have that
so
choice,
listen,
but you cannot place it upon
look,
just
I'm
men.
gonna speak
I'm not
on
placing it on
responsibility of
men. I'm just saying that if a man decides to squirt his ejaculation into a woman, he should
Yes.
bear the responsibility. And if he walks away, he should have to pay child support or have to pay something to take care of that child some way or another.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if
So
we
look,
were going to be honest, I believe that they should come up with an agreement terms when it comes prior to actually even committing to sex, if it was up to me. Like
Wow.
actually
Yeah,
have
but
a
that's
breakdown
that's
whether or not
after.
they
But that's
don't
after
That's-
the
consent.
fact. So it's like,
know,
should I?
usually-
Okay, so like, should I have to sign a consent form in order to have sex with a woman? Like, hey, listen,
No, not the
sign this consent
towards
form.
sex, but a consent form towards regarding like, do I want a child right now?
Okay,
Like,
so
you should
like
be-
I
it
should
should
have
be
to
like
sign
on an
a. Okay,
ID type
before
of
we
shit,
have
and
sex,
then you
you
can-
sign this paperwork so that just in case of me and you have a child, me and you, this is how it's gonna be arranged. That's what you think we should be doing?
No, what I was saying a second ago was more along the lines of like, say for example, we do for alcohol, which is the age of 21, correct? We also do that for sex, and we also changed that for those who are trans and everything else.
It's
Now,
not gonna
the
happen,
premise-
man. That's
the
not gonna
premise
happen.
that
Wait,
I
wait,
was
wait. So
referring to-
are you saying that we should
Not
make
gonna
sex
happen.
illegal until you're like 21?
No. What I'm premising as is there should be able to have like a box tick type of situation where you could say, I want to have a child or I don't want to have a child. And that should not completely exempt you, but you should be able to present it to your partner and say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where you're at. Okay, yes or no on having sex. yes or no on are you acceptable of the fact that I don't want to have the child, therefore I've made it legalized to where
Listen,
I
man.
can walk away
You know, none of that
from
really
said
matters in the
situation.
end of the day.
Listen, man,
It
like
does
I don't
matter to a
know. Listen,
degree.
bro. I don't know when's the last time you like. I don't know when's the last time you've been in this situation here, but sex is an intimate act,
It
and
is an
there's
intimate
nothing
act, yes.
intimate about squaring off terms about who's going to take care of a child if you guys accidentally have a kid. This is not what happens. This is not reality, and you have to set up
It's not, but I'm
frameworks
saying we can
based.
adopt a system that works.
But you have to set up frameworks for the worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario is that those accidents lead to people who would essentially not take care of a child when they should.
Wait.
So you have to develop
You think that making people sign a consent form before and have a
I'm not
check-off
saying consent
situation,
for it.
or like have a check-off situation before having sex,
It wouldn't
that's gonna
hurt.
work? That's just gonna work.
It wouldn't hurt to try.
I mean, people,
I'm
but wait,
trying to
but
adopt
people could
both
do that now.
mentalities
Wait,
and
but
come up
people
with a
could do that
solution.
now. People could do that now.
Yes, but they don't adhere to it apparently.
So what do you think people? You should make it illegal not to do that or something?
No, not illegal. I'm just saying that in case
Well, you
someone wishes to hide it, kind of like someone hiding their age.
okay.
You
Listen,
want to be able to have methods and means to say, I wasn't aware. Um, have these abilities to be able to at least say that you weren't trying to participate in the conception of a child. You were wearing a
But none
rubber
of that
to poke a hole
matters.
through it or
None
any
of
of
that
Yeah,
that.
but none of that matters. If the baby, if you, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but if you're having sex with a woman, and even if you're wearing protection, and you tell her I don't want a baby, and you sign a consent form saying, hey, I don't want to have a baby. If you have sex with her and she gets pregnant as a result of your actions, that's not going to exempt you from having to take care of that
Okay,
child.
let me ask this. Is it okay for any gender at all, to go in with the intent to either procreate a child so that they can make money off of the other individual or run away and burden them with the burden of the child?
okay.
Wait, say
So
that
I
again?
just want to. Okay, look, no, this is what his problem is. Your problem is that you're conflating you're conflating an unjust system which women can take advantage of over the moral responsibility and what is right for the child in terms of both parents
No,
supporting
I
them.
understand the problems with the child, and I have already accepted and
I'm just going to speak
allowed
from
that
experience.
part.
Just let me talk for a second because you monologue
Okay,
a bit.
sorry.
So just
Sorry.
let me talk for a second, right? So I'm going to talk to you from experience as a father of a 6-year-old kid who
Yes.
I've been separated with shared custody since she was 1 years old.
Yes.
My child support obligations are based off of how much both of us make. And if she goes off and has a successful career and makes $1 million a year, she will be paying me child support.
Of course. And I get
Okay.
that. I get that on both
And
sides.
if the
Even if he
reverse
was making his
happens,
$6 million or whatever.
and I get a successful career and I make
Mhm.
shit tons more than her, I will be paying her child support. This is a
Yes.
framework that guarantees, okay, in the worst case scenario in which this ludicrous situation in which you'll think people are going to sign a contract before having sex, where it's a framework in case this shit happens to give the child the best chance.
Yeah.
Like
Of
this is
course.
how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, the
And I'm
fairness
not
of the
arguing
fairness
against
of
it.
the.
I have been
yeah.
agreeing with both of you guys in this regard. What I am talking about is towards the conception of the child.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like,
I have not derailed away from it. I have not cut you guys
so do you think it should
down
be
on the premise of-
illegal not to sign a consent form before having sex?
No,
So what do you?
that is ridiculous. As
what-
I said, it's more along the terms of being able to at least have the conversation openly or at least legally towards one another and
What's
say,
stopping
hey,
you from doing that though?
what's stopping people is that we don't have a system in place for that. We have
Like,
only
what
consent
system-
that's verbal.
Yeah. So what system do you think should be in place of the verbal consent shit that we got right now?
As I said, there's something that's like a checkbox on your fucking ID. It's as simple as it gets.
So
It's
you
something that
think we
be
should go
able
like
to
when I
look
go
at
get
and
my
be like,
driver's
"Hey,
license?
maybe I shouldn't sleep with you."
Yeah, so like when I go get my driver's license, I should have like a check off like, I don't want to have sex, but I don't want to have a kid right now.
No,
if I
I
have
don't
sex,
wanna have kids
and then
right now.
and then
Yeah.
like before I have sex,
All you
before I have sex with the woman, I just show it to her. Listen, I don't care what happens in this interaction. If I get you pregnant, listen, on my ID, it said that I didn't need. I don't want to have sex. So if you get pregnant,
I got a
your ass is on your own. Your ass is on your own, bro.
Knock you up and just leave.
I'm out of here. My ID.
That's her responsibility as much as your own to sit there and say, "Hey, we knew this was going to happen. I agreed to it, and I apologize if it causes you an inconvenience or a burden." That way, she doesn't get pregnant and forced to keep it off of guilt or whatever else that people do with manipulation, as well as him not being manipulated into having to fucking do any kind of child support and supporting her needs and her tendencies while the child goes unprotected.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
What if
wait a minute.
Not say that there are people out there.
One last question.
System.
Let's say I get
What's
this
up?
ID and I do whatever all the prerequisites that are needed to show that I don't want a kid, but I still get that girl pregnant. Am I still going to be held liable to take care of that child?
If she decides to keep it after the agreement was, obviously presented, and it becomes a legal matter.
So, wait.
At least open it up to a legal concession.
So what if? So like, what do you
So
think?
what's the point?
So what do you
That's
think?
already
So
what
what's the point?
happened.
That's how.
That's already what happened.
Yeah, that is what happens.
That's
isn't
not
it?
already
That
what
is already
happens.
what
A lot of it
happens.
is a hearsay court, a kangaroo court of them just fucking saying, yeah, he's the child, and then they don't do the DNA test. How many times has that happened to people, whether it is on the male side or the female side?
Well, I don't disagree
Right,
with that, but
yeah, dude, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
A man should be allowed to
That's
ask for
why
a DNA test.
it's
I
a system
I have
that's
no issues with
Yeah.
that.
this
I have
is
no
a
issues
system
with
that's
that.
only.
But
it's
there's
just.
no
But if you,
scenario-
if you have
not
sex
to
with a
just
woman,
cause harm or stop
it
people
doesn't
from
matter
doing it.
what you signed beforehand. If you have sex with a woman, it doesn't matter what you signed or whatever prerequisites needed. If you have sex with a woman, you get her pregnant. You have to be you still bear the responsibility of taking care of that kid.
Yes, but like I said, it becomes more along the lines of a legal court, where a legal situation where she's intentionally going out of her way to keep the child when there was an agreement made whether or not they should have a child.
dude.
Yeah, but
okay, I'm
that's
gonna tell
not
you
going to
this right
matter
now,
if you
okay?
still have to take
Listen.
care of it after that agreement,
No,
right?
okay.
No, it does matter because you do take care of the child. Wait, I'm getting confused. You do take care of the child. I'm not saying don't take care of the child. What I'm saying is that we're trying to prevent people from abusing the system. That's what we're trying to prevent for. People who are cognitively smart enough to sit there and say, "Look, I got a paper ID that tells me where you're at," rather than you lying to me on the spot.
So
There you
are you
go.
talking about like the one in like a million case where a woman conned a man to have a kid with him so that she can then divorce him for the child support? Is that seriously the scenario in which you're bringing up that we need
I'm
to
just
absolutely
being
protect
preventative.
men
I'm
from?
not
We need-
disallowing
That's what
people from having
that's the
sex.
scenario you're presenting from, instead of the scenario that happens a million times a year where two people have sex because they have whatever kind of relationship together, be it
Mhm.
friends, not friends, I don't give a shit, have a relationship, and this scenario comes up in which neither of them wanted a child and they have to come up with a decision, but the end result stays the exact same, is that a child will be born, and those two people, regardless of whether or not they wanted to have the kid in the first place, are responsible for it.
Why don't we
That's
just
it,
why
that's
don't we
all.
why
Okay,
don't we
let me
just
ask-
tell
Let me
kids?
ask
no
you this:
other-
in this scenario, are you saying that abortion's off the table?
No,
No,
I'm not
no,
saying
no,
that
no, no,
abortion's
no.
off the table.
Okay, I'm just
What
trying
I'm
to be
what I'm
on the
what
same
I'm
page. That's all.
saying, at the end of the day, I've made it clear. The woman has the choice to abort the kid, and there's nothing the man can say about
Okay.
it. I don't give a shit about what anybody says about that. But
Okay.
if they are gonna have the kid, they are both responsible for it. I don't care
Yes.
what the men have to say about it.
That
Yeah.
was never argued.
Right? That's it. Like,
Why
so
don't
you
we
build a
just
legal
why don't
framework-
instead of making doing all this consent stuff, why don't we just like tell men not to have sex with a woman unless they are okay with having a child with her?
We've already tried that,
But we could
and people lack the common decency
well,
and common
but
sense
if people
to keep
okay, but
straight
if
with their
people
stories.
yeah, but if people do that, no, then shouldn't they bear the responsibility for the consequences
I'm
of their
just
own
saying-
actions?
I'm saying that when we look at this situation, you're gonna have people that will tell you a different story on the spot. But when you have at least a generalized conception of whether or not you do or don't want to have the child, it allows people the wiggle room to sit there and be like, okay, I don't want to have sex with you because of this.
But you
rather
could do that
than-
now.
No, we can't, because the amount of times that people will lie and deceit is still pretty strong in any country. That's not.
Then just don't have
no.
sex.
How many times have you seen a spouse or whatever else remove a ring?
Then don't have sex.
Of
Well-
course. And people are trying their best not to, but it's a natural instinct.
Well, yeah, but you, in the end of the day, that's your choice if you have sex with a woman.
Yeah,
So if you have sex
Yes,
with
of
that,
course. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to grab both consensus of both sides and come up with
yeah,
a solution.
the
yeah,
problem
I
is you're
think we have the
taking the
solution though.
yeah, the problem is you're taking a very small subset of data, which is men who get fucked by women in these very rare scenarios over the enormous amount of other scenarios that drastically overtake what actually happens in society in reality.
Well,
So
can you
yeah,
give me one of those
men
other
do get
scenarios so I could come
men.
up with a solution for that as
Well,
well?
you keep talking about men getting screwed over about by
Well,
vile
I'm just
women, and
providing
you're
one of the
right, that
many
happens, but
reasons.
that's a small percentage of the scenarios in which people feel they need to get an abortion or having a child out of wedlock or by mistake. Like that shit happens in society regularly,
I know, I get that. I'm
regularly
asking
from
you,
from teenagers all the way on up to people in their 50s. So the
yes,
scenario in which you're bringing up is so small that to build something around that exact scenario where some men get screwed over is ridiculous. You have to look at
we
society on a broader
okay.
sense, and in a broader sense, that's how you kind of have to have your outlook on it. Like
Mhm.
you're too focused on one small specific subset of data.
I'm just providing an option for the general public that allows at least people to come a more generalized conception towards this, because that's one problem, and I can try to provide solutions for other problems as well. This is just a means to help facilitate the process, because speaking about it is one thing, but God forbid we know that people do not follow their own words. They don't.
That's
They
what
do
we
their
need,
own
daddy
thing.
government to come in.
We don't really need, I mean, what we need
I
is
mean,
just a system that is in place for both parties to feel safe.
I feel like we kind of already got that going on
You,
right
We
now.
have,
you know what, man?
It
Like,
is
you
what
know
it is,
what?
though.
At the end of the day, the act of sex will lead to kids. Both
yeah,
people
of
know about
course.
it. Unless you're talking about kids here, I'm pretty sure anybody who partakes in the action of sex knows the end result. And
Yeah.
that are
That's also why
the
I believe
those are
that
the
abortion
rules of the
shouldn't be
game.
taken off
Wait,
the table.
those are the rules of the game that you both know before you started playing that game. So there is an
Hmm.
implied risk when having sex that you both take when you consent to having sex. You don't need a fucking contract. You need to consent to having sex. And in that consent, there's also the risk factor of having a kid. So your contract or your stupid license thing is really irrelevant at the end of the day, because as long as there's consent, the risk factor is already taken into consideration. So too is the STD factor. If the woman consents to having sex with him, without a condom, and he potentially lied about having an STD or didn't know that he had an STD, well, guess what? That's the game of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
of
you
course.
enter this game, you know the rules, you know the risks. That's implied
That's
when
why we have
you
sex education.
I just want
yes.
people to stop treating sex like it's a
Yeah.
fucking game, you
I
know?
mean, it is a game for most people, though. And
I know it
but if
is.
people treat it like
That's
it's a
why being
game, but
simple
if
so
people treat
fun.
it like a game, right? They're gonna face the consequences of that, right? By
Oh, yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah. No, I
so
totally
I don't
understand
mean
that.
it.
I just,
I meant it as a game as a metaphorical, in a metaphorical sense. But the point is that there's risks implied, and those risks are consented to. Like that's all I'm trying to say. So
mhm.
at the end of the day, you build the framework for the accidents, and the accidents is when you put a child in a scenario where both parents disagree about supporting it. But you don't let that happen. You don't let the man walk out, or you don't let the woman walk out either when the kids are fucking 9 years old and she doesn't want to take care of them and she wants to
Yeah.
go and fuck the young dude at her office,
No, of
right?
course.
Like you build frameworks around that crap rather than worry about the dumbass guy who decided to marry a woman 15 years younger than him, and then when she reaches 30 she decides to go fuck some other dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
who gives a shit about those guys at the end of the day? I'm sorry, like, I'm a
No,
men
no,
supporter,
I
rights
totally understand
activist.
what you
Like,
mean,
I
and I
don't give a
agree
shit.
with you. I'm not
men
gonna,
are superior. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I'm not saying men are superior at all. I'm trying to safeguard both sides here.
No, I know, but men are
Because
the best.
it happens to men just as much as it happens to women. I'm not advocating for one particular side. I'm just trying to come up with a way or something, God forbid, because everybody keeps fucking trying to come up with exclusionary tactics to try to implement new shit to help, just in general to help.
No, I get your position, man. So, any of you guys want to debate me about anything sometime?
Not really. We pretty much agree on a lot of shit.
Yeah, man.
I just want there to be more systems because fucking Christ, people are taking advantage of all the loopholes out there, and I know there's loopholes.
Oh yeah, bro, you seen tomorrow show?
But
anyways. But I'm ahead. I'm ahead out, man. I'm gonna probably turn this combo into a YouTube video. So
have fun.
Yep. Have a good night, man.
I know it's gonna be a bitch to edit.
Nah,
Sorry, I don't know if you're still recording.
Yes, I am. Have a good night, man. See you later, brother.
Laters.
All right, man. That was fun. I'll see you guys.